I think I got it. I think I got it. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. Awesome. Oh, look at that. Lauren is first today. ESAT is also first. Hey, thanks, man. How you guys doing? How you doing today? What's going on? How we doing? How we feeling? You guys know what I'm here for. Let's get into it. Let us begin. I can't be here too long today, but welcome to my live. Hey, Casanova, welcome. Yo, Jace, you're the best man. I'm talking to too many girls I met online, and I had my first girl pay for a date. Congratulations. Yeah, all I did was just give you the information, man. You're the one that actually executed on it. So well done to you, and may this be the first of many more dates that girls pay for you. That becomes, I get the excitement though, but that becomes the norm as time goes on. You should expect that fairly often. When women like you, they do anything for you, including pay for dates. Wagwan, Canva, how you doing, man? What's up? And I almost had a girl I never met bring me food once. That, again, another one of those things that's quite normal. That's like floor level stuff. Not to, knock you down or anything. Like, well done. This is fantastic. This is great. Definitely celebrate in whatever way you want to. You've been promoted. Like that one sound that was going viral last year. You've been promoted. Like, this is, you're now living a life that most men don't even realize exists. Congratulations. But at the same time, there's something called lifestyle inflation, and it doesn't just happen with money. It also happens with girls. The more you receive a certain level of compliance, the more commonplace it becomes. And that's a good thing, actually. You do want to get to the point where you're thoroughly desensitized to that level of compliance so you can start stepping up to the next ones. It's pretty cool. It's really fun. Someday I want to be able to not bring lunch for work and just have women bring me food. That was a system I was running for a while when I was working a job. That I would literally have that happen. That, like, because it's easier. It's more convenient. I don't gotta worry about like the cooking or the cleanup afterwards. I just let them deal with all that stuff, and then I don't have to spend my own money to buy food during lunch or anything like that. Just have them bring it over. That's ideal. That's actually what you want. Women become really fun when you can incorporate them into your life in a way that's actually useful to you. All right, that's exactly what you want. Congratulations. What's the thing with ashwagandha? I have no idea. Be careful with anything you want to put in your body. Of course, I'll always say make sure you should be careful with all of that. Make sure that you're actually doing your research on it. Make sure you're at the very least okay with whatever the long-term effects of using whatever that thing is. You generally want to feel like that. But if everyone's raving about it, then there has to be some kind of benefits to it, right? If the benefits are, in your mind, worth whatever sacrifice or whatever thing you have to give in exchange, then cool, whatever. All these things have side effects. You just got to be okay to live with them. The one thing you know if life, the one thing you know in life, don't be afraid to ask. Exactly. What do you know about it? Ashwagandha? Not much, to be honest. I'm not really big into all that and supplementation. I really should get more into supplementation, to be honest. I really should be more. I had my doctor recently was like, I'm healthy and stuff, but he was explaining to me how when you come from a different country, you're usually lacking in certain vitamins that you were getting an abundance of back at home that you probably aren't getting here. And it made sense to me. I'm like, yeah, you might be right about that. I might have to get on like the whole vitamin D and fish oil thing. That might, and magnesium. That's another big one. Magnesium. So I might start getting into the whole supplementation game and come give you guys whatever findings I come across. Hey, what's going on, Kay? Welcome. How you doing, Kay? Why don't you just make a video about warm approaches to avoid all the gym and school questions? Because I have already done those. I've literally done all those videos. The problem is the way TikTok works. It's so many videos that pile on top of all the other videos. So I can't tell you how many times people ask me questions about, hey, let me know the answer to this particular question. And it's like, if you were just to be patient enough to scroll all the way down, maybe not to the bottom, but scroll down back far enough, you'll see the answer to that question. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there. I've literally made all those videos, probably more than once for each one. But, you know, it is what it is. It's just how stuff works on here. I told my girl I was going to see other girls because she was too busy to see me on my birthday. Is it possible? Is it petty of me? Very petty of you. Extremely petty of you. I mean, nothing wrong with saying that as like a joke or anything. If you want to introduce other girls into the relationship, it shouldn't be done in that way. It shouldn't be done from a place of like, you know, resentment or as a revenge of some kind. It should be done as like a decision you want to make and have her go along with. So don't do that. But yeah, that's just petty. That's what women do. You know, that's why they're women. That's what makes them women, is the fact that they'll take whatever emotion they're feeling and they'll act off of it. So as a man, you should be better than that, at least in my opinion. Let's see. Today I could possibly hold on. Oh, that's for Conva. He has already made a video. Exactly. I've literally already made several videos about this. Today I could possibly see 3 girls, but gonna be difficult because of logistics. I would say stack them up in terms of priority, but not in a linear form. So this is what I would usually do. If I have to see 3 girls in a day, and my day either allows for it or it's a little too tight, what I would do is I would set up the girl that I like the most in the middle of the 3. The girl that I like the least is obviously gonna be number 1. That's the one I'll plan to see first. The one I like the most, or in my mind, I, you know, think is gonna be the more smooth, better date, the more interesting time spent, whatever, that'll be in the middle. And then the one I'm kind of so-so about, like the one in the middle, that'll be the last one to see. Why am I setting it up like that? Very simple. You don't want to set up the girl you like the most as the first, because then you almost have no motivation to see the other 2. You also don't want to set her up as the last, because then you're rushing through the other 2 dates just to get to her. You want to have a warm-up date so that you are actually primed and warmed up, if you want to think about it like that, before you see the girl you actually want. But then you also want to have another girl after that, because in case for whatever reason your expectations are shattered with that girl in the middle, the one you like the most prior to, you at least have a backup. There's still that lack of neediness you feel with the girl you like the most, even though she's the one you like the most. There's still that thing in the back of your mind going, I gotta see this other girl later. So it's gonna show in your body language, your mannerisms, your voice tonality, that you don't need this particular date to go well at all. It'll come across to her for sure, on like a subconscious level. So that's how you want to set it up. So the girl you like the most in the middle, the girl somewhere in the middle at the end of the line, and then the girl you like the least or don't really care for that much in the front. That's the warm-up set. That's how I want to set it up. Bro said that's a system I would run back and to say having game is so important when you broke. For real. Having game is just about the only way to consistently get girls, and attractive girls, not just girls in general, but like girls you actually want. Attractive girls when you have no monetary access to them. Particularly cold approach, not just game in general, but cold approach. The ability to walk up to a woman you don't know from jack shit and strike up a conversation and completely incorporate her into your life by just using your words, it's like a superpower. It really is. It's really like a superpower. It's nothing like it. I can't even begin to explain how many opportunities I've been able to get, how many new people I've been able to meet, how many powerful people I have in my phone, like my contact list, because I met and seduced the right girls. I really do believe that about myself too. I was talking to my girl about this recently. It's like, damn, I've really climbed up like a bit of a social ladder from just fucking the right bitches. Like literally, it's so fun. What's going on, Nep? How you doing? How you doing? Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta scroll back up because that kind of the live looks very different. I think an update came through. That's cool. That's interesting. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Thoughts on All Might. All Might is a G. All Might. I mean, protective type, obviously. Protective with a willingness to provide. All the best heroes are that ideal protective provider balance. Protective with the willingness to provide. He embodies everything a hero should be, down to the fact that he is a symbol. Legends don't die as people; they die as ideas, you know. And he's a symbol of peace. That transcends more than just a guy. That's an identity. That's something that's greater than himself. You know, that's important. Every man should live for something that is greater than himself. It's important. Girl 1, run errands. Girl 2, get ice cream. Girl 3, spend the night at her place if possible. So, okay, the way you set that up, that's not cool. You should switch, because now the girl that's like spending the night at her place, that's the one you like the most. That's very obvious to me. That's the one you like the most. You want to set her up for the middle, and then do something at night with girl 2. And then after you're done with girl 2, then you hit up girl 3, this one you're talking about, and be like, look, yo, I still have time, blah, blah, let's keep spending some more time with each other, and then you spend the night. That's exactly how you should like structure that. Can the mods brag about their success on this live? I really am curious how good they have it. Hey, mods, go for it. my most notorious mods, the guys in my crew that I would call the most arrogant, they're not even here. If they're here, they'll probably be doing it without you asking them. We got K in the building. K is a more chill, more reserved guy. You know, he doesn't do a lot of bragging. He's just one of them type of dudes. So, you know, good luck trying to get anything out of K. He's very super chill, super quiet, super secretive. He knows how to keep a secret. But Ryu and Fish Army, those fucking troublemakers, man. Let's see. How would you go about getting a girl to get an abortion? Oh, nah. Okay. That's an interesting question, Kay. We gotta talk a little after this. Abortion, you say? So, okay. There's two schools of thought when it comes to that. I'm not, by the way, before I even continue, let's not worry about, you know, religion or beliefs or anything like that. We're just talking about it purely from a game scientific point of view. You have a problem, you want that problem solved. Let's talk about it like that, like super, like just pure Vulcan logic. Okay? All right. How would you get a girl to terminate a pregnancy? Well, you got to think about it like this. There's things that are stopping you that in her mind are legitimate obstacles from doing that. It might be her religious beliefs. It might be the psychological burden, the regret she feels afterwards. She doesn't want to feel that. There's a number of things. And it will always come down to the way she feels about it. That's really what it comes down to. What you then have to do is one of two schools of thought, right? You can either completely gaslight her into believing that she will not feel those emotions, which honestly works faster, but has more like a worse backlash. Like the consequences of doing it that way are worse long term. It almost always completely destroys the relationship. Or you can do the second thing, which makes more sense, which is give her reassurance that you will be with her through the entirety of whatever negative emotions or repercussions come from that for her. Does that make sense? But that's really what it is. Like ultimately, they don't want to get rid of it because of how they'll feel, and even just as importantly, how they think you'll behave afterwards. Right? So you got to think about it almost like, you know when you get last minute resistance from a girl? You're about to get naked and you get last minute resistance. It's like that, but worse, right? Like it's clearly far more serious. Like the risk of pregnancy is one thing. Now you're dealing with the risk of childbirth because the pregnancy is there now. You see what I'm saying? That's, you know, that's in general how you got to think about it. It's like either make her think that nothing bad is going to happen in terms of like the way she's going to feel afterwards. And then you can also supplement that with, again, I wouldn't advise this, but you can supplement that with like tactics to increase her sense of urgency. Just let her know like, oh, nah, listen, if you were to take that baby and have it, I'm just not going to be here. There's no person in the world, no government in the world, no government agency or body that will ever find me. You will have to raise that kid on your own. Like really get her to feel that abandonment before it even happens. And I mean, that's one way to do it. Honestly, when I was first learning, that was the way I was taught to do it. Never sat right with me though. But yeah, the second way is just is better. It's better. That's how you want to think about it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Oh, what's going on, L. Ross? How you doing? Can you give some examples of strategies for psychological positioning? No, it's not a strategy thing. It's just something you're asking for tips. It's not as complex as you think it is. Psychological positioning can happen in one of two ways. Ultimately, it's your words or your actions. It's the things you do in front of her that she observes, or the things you say to her, in a way that is believable, in a way that she knows that you mean those things. What all those things come down to is the things you say and do that allow her to know and understand that you believe you are higher value than her. Anything you do or say around her that lets her think, oh, this guy thinks he's better than me. Psychological positioning achieved. That's it. It's really that simple. So it can be something as subtle, or maybe if you want to call it more complex, as making fun of her, right? Because who's the kind of guy that has the balls to make fun of her? The kind of guy that isn't worried about her opinion. The kind of guy that isn't scared to offend her. The kind of guy that doesn't care about, you know, what she might think about how badly he's treating her. That's one way to go about it. Another way that's a little more overt, if you want to call it that, is doing something in front of her that shows that you care so little about what she thinks about you, right? Your mannerisms, your body language, it's stuff that lets her know instantly, like, you mean nothing to me. You're just someone I just met. I'm still trying to get to know you. Even doing stuff like vetting women, like just the ability to make a woman feel like you're scrutinizing her, making women feel like, oh, this guy actually is putting me through some kind of like an interview process. That alone lets her know, oh, he thinks that he's the one adding more value in the situation, because only the person adding more value is going to be doing the interview, going to be conducting the interview. No one goes to a place where they want to get a job, or like, you know, puts in a job application and then ends up asking more questions than the interviewer. Well, except me, of course, because again, psychological positioning. This is why I've gotten every job I've ever interviewed for. Go to the interview and make sure you're asking more questions about the job than they're asking you about your qualifications for the job. All of a sudden, you flip the script. And then they realize, oh, it becomes a race to get you to stay and to entice you with all these things about the job, as opposed to, I wonder if you're a good fit for our company. Does that make sense? It's very important. Very important. But like that's essentially it. That's what psychological positioning is. Is just doing or saying anything that makes her understand and believe that you believe that you're better than her. And by the way, don't feel any type of ways about it in your mind. It is impossible to get a girl that doesn't think you're better than her. It's not possible. Then the non-mods out here saying first, move aside, peasants. Yep, there we go. That's one of the troublemakers I was telling you about. That's Philip. Everybody say hi to Philip. They're very proud of their modship, which is fair. They worked hard for it and they get a lot of cool perks. Let's see. For me, I would line up the dates based on what we going to do. You could use logistics as like the primer, but I would say, okay, unless the logistics are super tight, then sure, prioritize logistics. If not, I prefer to spend my time with someone that I actually want to spend my time with, as opposed to the person that logistics makes it so I have to spend more time with this person. Like, if I have a girl that I like, maybe out of a 1 to a 10, like just to keep it simple, right? This girl, equal levels of hotness, two of them. One I like at a level 7 and the other I like at a level 9, right? And the level 7 is free all day, but the level 9 is only free for an hour. I will spend an hour with the level 9. I will spend 30 minutes with the level 7. That's just me personally. I don't like the most important resource to me is my time. By far. Not my convenience, my time. So, I can always be comfortable later. I can't get my time back. So that's just me though. That's just me. Hey, what's going on, Ken Harry? How you doing? Let's see. This live on an Android. Yes, it's a Google Pixel. Does it say? Is that a part of the update now? That's interesting. Just bought the interview last night. Looking forward to listening to the content. You got a lot of listening up to do. A lot. Like, it's a lot in there. So, really take out a lot of time throughout the course of the next week to just, watch everything, take your notes, probably, watch each video more than once or go through the course in its entirely. Again, depending on how hardworking you want to be about it, it can either take a week or a month, whatever. But go through it, take your notes, come back again, do it all over again, whatever. Todd V made a video about learning game intelligently. I think it's really great. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's fire. I mean, it's Todd V we're talking about. Shout out to Todd V. So girl 1 is warm up. 2 is your fave. 3 is just in case 2 doesn't come through. Essentially, yeah. Best way to cure one-nightish. It depends on the severity, but I would say the best way by far for most levels of one-nightish is just replacement. Replace the girl with a better one. Everyone's hung up on their ex until they get a hotter chick. The only time when the hotter chick theory doesn't work is when, that imprint is strong. Imprinting is a real thing, and it happens for both men and women. If she left such a massive impact, and usually for men, the reason the imprint would even be strong is, 1, scarcity, right? Not a lot of girls in your past. And then 2, the amount of, time spent and emotions and finances and time invested, So whenever you have all 3 of those things on a girl, yeah, it's very hard to forget that girl. It's very, very hard, even if you get a harder one. But give it time, it'll eventually clear. It always does. Let's see. I need to get the loud mods here. I'm trying to hear all the stories. Sure. You be on one night, Ja. Last giddy boy to the core. I have no choice. I grew up in Lagos. I got Palace, I was born in Surulere. Surulere. Hey, thanks for the gift. But yeah, I'm definitely as Nigerian as it gets. You understand? You understand with the run things now. We just the do our thing. God they provide. Why would you answer the question about abortion then? Now I know. Hey, I told you to take your morality out of it. I there's a reason my name has scientist in it. We got to deal with things as logically as possible, regardless of how we feel about things. Me personally, I don't fuck with that. I really do not. I'm a Christian man, y'all know that. So, but I'm also a scientist, so I know how that shit works. If for whatever reason you're curious, I have super low confidence in chill season next month. To massively boost it, what actions can I take, or can you advise me? I'm willing to put myself through the gauntlet. Well, that right there is more than enough, perfect. I would definitely tell you to go through my course, Self-Belief. It's completely free. You can register for it, link in bio. But, Yeah, find the hardest thing you can do, the hardest things you can do, and do them on a daily basis, and do them for the next 30 days, for a long period of time. Like, really push yourself. Really, really push yourself. Mentally, physically, emotionally, push yourself. What you can do, I really don't know. I don't know the details of your life. I don't know what your, what your life looks like, what you have access to, stuff like that. I don't know what would be considered hard to you. So I would always say start with, something you can control. Your environment, your body, right? Those are the two major elements you have to begin to adjust and massively change in order to create transformation in yourself. Everyone talks about your body, and that makes sense. Like, yes, change your body, but your environment is probably the biggest one. And I always say, even though it sounds like I'm repeating myself, even though it sounds like redundant, if you can't change your environment, then change your environment. What I mean when I say that is, if you cannot change where you physically are to a different place, then change where you physically are to look different, right? Because you'd be surprised how many triggers in your environment as it is right now subconsciously trigger you to go back into your old ways. The next 30 days for you is just going to be you fighting yourself. That's all it's going to be. On a psychological level, emotional, physical level, it's going to be you fighting hard to not revert back to the person you were before. All right? Only way you're pulling that off is if you fight intelligently. And that is start with your environment. Like I have a script where I talk about the isolation process. 7 days of isolation, no food, no water, no entertainment, no sunlight, just trapped in a room by yourself, reading books, meditating on certain kinds of information. It's one of the best, fastest ways to trigger transformation in yourself. But one thing I like to really harp on is the environment and how much you should change about it. Like, even the small things that you wouldn't think matter as far as changing your environment, they do matter. Change your fucking toothbrush. Like, literally, change your toothbrush. Change your comb, your hairbrush, your towels, your nail clippers. Like, change it all. Those things, whether you realize it or not, carry with them. We can talk about it from a scientific point of view. Like, they carry with them certain, bacteria and chemicals that, your body has gotten used to a certain rhythm with, and will just lull you into the same sleep you were in before. But even on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, they carry with them a certain energy. All right, when we're talking about the metaphysical, they carry with them things you cannot see with the ordinary eye, and those things are designed to keep you where you are in this perfect homeostasis, because it thinks that that's what you need to stay alive longer. Get rid of those things. Get rid of them. Literally change where you are to the point where you're changing the smell, the feel, the look, the look. Literally, I keep telling people, change the position of your bed. Not even kidding. Change the position of your bed. Change your fucking curtains, your shower curtains. Fucking put a tint on your window if it didn't have one before. If it had one before, rip it off. Change your carpet. Change everything. Change everything. Those pair of shoes you wear every day, get rid of them. Get a new pair of shoes that you not wear every day. Or those nicer pair of shoes you don't wear every day, wear those as your everyday shoes now. It sounds goofy, it sounds weird, but I promise you, those tiny little things really matter. Okay? Good luck to you. Tired of being a little bee. That's where it starts, and I'm happy you've gotten to that point where you realize you're just tired of being someone that's scared of life. Because that's where it starts. It's realizing I've just been living life too fucking safe all this time. I've been playing it too safe everywhere. I've been going with the motions. I've been doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. I've been living within this weird comfort zone. I want to finally be dangerous. Congratulations. Let's see. Sammy's here. What's going on, baby? Practical goals, this amount of approaches a day. If you want to do approaches, I would say start with 10. 10 approaches. And again, just the approaches. You don't have to be successful at any of them. Right? You don't have to get anyone's number, get any girl to show you her titties, nothing. Just literally start with just saying hi to 10 girls a day. Getting to the point where, how does my girl say it? Because my girl says something, so how does she say it? Something. Oh yeah, she says social anxiety is scared of you, right? The way I move in my life, again, this just comes with years and years of approaching strangers. There's really nothing I can do in public that'll embarrass me. It doesn't register as real to me anymore. I just don't care. Like, I'm the guy that'll do a cartwheel through the sidewalk on the crosswalk. I don't give a fuck. I'm a guy that'll break into a dance battle with my dog when I'm walking it. I don't give a shit. I'm the guy that'll this one time speaking of crosswalks, right? I rolled like a fucking burrito. I burritoed myself on the ground and I rolled across the crosswalk. I should probably start like posting videos of that. It's very fun. But yeah, my girl says social anxiety is scared of you. Like, social anxiety has anxiety about me. That's where you want to get to. And it's very easy to get there. Like, I've done this for years, but really I would say the first 3 months I was over it, honestly. The first 3 months it was like, oh yeah, no one actually gives a fuck. They'll probably talk about it once or twice, probably make a video about it online or whatever, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. And that's what you want to get to. So 10 approaches a day, you'll build yourself to be made of iron. Trust me. It'll be fun. It'll be very fun. What do you usually do after you go on a first date? Do you always wait for her to text you? Usually, yeah. It really depends on how the first date ended. If the first date ended in the way that I wanted it to end, then I'll usually just wait for her to do all the work after that, because once sex is had, the amount of energy is completely flipped, and then now it becomes the girl's job to make sure that you don't just get pussy and run away, right? So I let them do the work after that. But even at that, sometimes if it ends in that way, and for whatever interesting reason for that particular girl, I feel like, nah, I don't want to put her through too much stress, then I'll hit her up first afterwards. But most of the time I would say, yeah, I'm just waiting for them to hit me back up, because it'll happen at some point. Whether you give them 3 days, usually not more than a week, they'll hit you back up. Do you have a course on this, Jace? On what exactly? What were we talking about there? I made a list, joining boxing, making 10 approaches a day, stand up to parents. Okay, that's not a bad list so far. Change my room. Good. Excellent. Stand up to parents is going to be the hardest one there, I think. Because I say do that one first, honestly. Because the confidence to do that one will spill into all the other ones. If you can do that one, the others will be easy. See, when people make that list of priorities like that, of the hard things they should do, automatically they start checking off all the smaller, lesser ones, because in their minds, the quantity is what matters. If the more of it I do, the better. But in reality, what really matters and what registers in your brain, in your psyche, in your central nervous system, what we call the reptilian and the limbic brain. These are the brains that both influence your behavior on an instinctual and emotional level, but also register your level of success after those actions have been taken, or at least the way you interpret that level of success, right? What matters the most to them is impact. What matters the most to them is how jarring, how shocking it is for you and how well you survive it, right? So I would say do the standing up to parents one first. That one. Like, that one. Then, after doing that, patting yourself on the back, carrying with you that energy, doing the rest. Doing the rest will become so easy, it wouldn't even feel hard. Like the boxing one, it'll feel uncomfortable for the first week. But even that entire week, maybe month of feeling uncomfortable, trying to keep your stance, keeping your form, remembering to clench your abs and tuck your chin, all that will feel pale in comparison to that first moment you look at your parents and you make them realize that you're an individual and they have to respect you as such. That's a big one for most people. Unless of course you're like a middle child or a last born that doesn't give a fuck about your parents anyway. But for the majority of us firstborns and only children, yeah. that matters, right? That does. Let's see. Hey girls, that's funny. Sub Sensei, I'm gonna steal someone's girl. Any tips? You cannot steal another person's girl. It is not possible. I keep telling you guys, it is not possible to steal someone else's girl. What you're doing is you're placing yourself in the right position and time for a girl that's looking for an exit from her relationship anyway to come with you. You are allowing her to use you as a vehicle to exit a relationship she doesn't feel safe in anymore. She doesn't feel excited in anymore, right? So that's what you're doing. The tip ultimately is make sure you understand what she's missing in her relationship and then demonstrate that to the nth degree. So if you know her boyfriend is boring, be the more exciting guy. If you know her boyfriend is too rigid and too distant, be the guy that gives her all the emotional excitement that she's been dying for. That's why women cheat. It's just a matter of, oh, this guy has it's shiny object syndrome most of the time. This guy has something my boyfriend doesn't. I'm going to go with that. And Lord knows, with the way the world is shaped these days and how little most men know about how women function and how little influence they have over their own women, Lord knows a lot of women just lack the discipline to say no to temptation. So carry on. But understand, you're not stealing her. You're not taking anything from anyone. You're just filling a gap in more ways than one. What to look for, discuss before hanging for the first time. What combos to save for the link. Interesting. So if you think about it, like, and this is usually with guys that are beginners or lower level intermediates, you still think of having conversations with a girl as these compartmentalized capsules you have to break open during conversation. Oh, this topic, let's talk about this here. And then we talk about this here. And then we talk about this here. What that tells me is that you're not an interesting person. That's not how interesting people think about talking about anything. It's just, no. I could talk all day. I've had to come to terms with that very recently about myself. It's like, I can yap all day. But the reason I can do that is because I'm interesting. Not to brag or anything, but I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've been a lot of places. I've done a lot of things. I've met a lot of people. So I can talk about anything in many more ways than just one. If you think to yourself, oh no, we've run out of conversation, you're not as interesting as you think you are. I would highly suggest you go and gather more life experience. When I say gather more life experience, I'm not saying get older. That'll happen on its own. You don't gotta force that. I'm saying go and do more with your life, more activities, more things. Go and challenge yourself more, because then you'll just have so much to talk about all the time. Interesting people don't run out of things to say. It doesn't happen. It's one thing for, the lack of interest in the people to be there and conversation dies down as a result. But you should never think to yourself, oh, these things, no, can't talk about this quite yet. This thing I can't talk about, blah, blah. Now, if you want to talk about increasing the level of mystery or increasing her sense of urgency by, talking around things at first, sure, you can do that. You can, talk about things about yourself or your opinions on different things in a way that leaves her longing for more, especially when you see her in person later. But even then, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have an opinion on something or anything. You should just be able to talk about it a little bit and then be like, you know what, I think it would be better to just explain this for you in person. If I ever decide that you're cool enough for me to see in person, then I'll explain this in detail later. All right, that's how you should be seeing it. All right, that's how you should be viewing conversation with women. I've been ignoring the nerd for about a week now, and the national exam result is out. But she didn't score a good mark, and I think she's not good. How do I get back? I'm trying to remember what the issue was before that. So it's that one girl that you were talking to, blah, blah, something. You've ignored her. I can't remember the details, to be honest. I can't remember the details. But if I told you to leave her alone, then keep leaving her alone. If that was what I told you, then keep leaving her alone. All right? It doesn't matter that now her life is shit because she got a bad mark. It doesn't matter. Just leave her alone. That has nothing to do with you right now. You know. In some instances, I feel like pre-selection is the biggest clutch of all time. I think it is too. Like, I don't get it twisted. Whenever I talk about pre-selection and I say it's not an attraction trigger, I'm not. That doesn't mean it's not powerful. That's not what I mean. It's still very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Like, that's kind of why people count it, especially Mystery. Shout out to Mystery. He counts it as an attraction trigger because of how powerful it works and how instantaneously you can make a woman change her mind around you. Like, I don't care how much of a loser she thought you were. And that's the beauty of the game, right? That's why I love games so much. Game is really what teaches you that no position is permanent. You know, she could have thought you were the biggest, slimiest, goofiest, dustiest, mustiest, crustiest loser she's ever come across. The moment she sees you having a conversation with a woman that's prettier than her, that's hotter than her, and that woman seems to be having a great time around you, it completely, like, everything she knew about you before, out the fucking window. And completely out. So pre-selection is very powerful. I personally just don't count it as an attraction trigger because I don't think it actually creates attraction. I think it drives up sense of urgency, for sure. I think it creates mystery, for sure. Like, it makes her think of you like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? There's something about this guy I clearly missed. For that girl of that caliber to want him, and for me not to want him, something's wrong here. What did I know about him, right? It creates an air of mystery. It makes her want to be more curious about you, for sure. I just don't think it gets them wet, right? Not actual arousal, if I gotta put it like that. Now, being the leader of men, that gets women wet. Being a successful risk taker, that gets very moist, very, very moist, right? Willingness to emote to a certain degree, maybe not as much as the other ones, but willingness to emote for sure. Having something or believing in something greater than yourself, very, very wet. Why do you think pastors get pussy all the time? Pastors, cult leaders, you know, rappers, when you believe in something greater than yourself, an ideal, a philosophy, a God, it gets them very moist. Pre-selection doesn't get them moist. Not in the same way. Curious, yes, but not moist. That's what I mean. Let's see. What's going on? Oh yeah, I read that one. Hey bro, I had a mental plateau. I don't know what it is, but I feel myself making excuses not to take action. I was on fire the last 2 months. Closing, just finished 30D fast. Okay. But now I'm struggling. Any advice? What's the actual plateau though? Is it with regards to what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing? Like, what's the actual hiccup? If you're finding yourself getting lazier, that's gonna be something you have to fight through with just pure will. You might have to use willpower. You might have to create strategies that make it easier for you to keep doing what you're doing, to keep getting those wins. But I want to know why. Like, what's the excuse? Whenever you find yourself not wanting to do what you're doing, what's the excuse you're telling yourself? What's the excuse? Let's hear it. Baddest girl in the vicinity. Her ex is trying to get her back. Has history, so it's easy for him. True. I've been getting in bro's mind for fun and telling him to count his days with the girl. Very good. I've trained you villains well. He was handling it well until he heard that me and the girl met once. Fair. Now he's shaking in his boots, right? Now he's like, oh shit, the threat is real. Good. Very good. Have you ever watched Tell Me Lies on Hulu? What do you think about Stefan's game? I have no idea what that is. You said Tell Me Lies on Hulu? Tell Me Lies. Is it a drama, a documentary, a rom-com? What is it? Tell Me Lies. Interesting name, first of all. Drama series, okay. 2 seasons. It's been out since 2022, apparently. It just off rip, not to sound judgmental, but it just looks like something I would not watch. It looks like a regular drama teen series or something. but if you think it's good, I might check it out. Why not? I might. I'll check it out. Why not? He's insecure on the low and is warning her about me. I'm a big topic of convo for them. Oof. He's already lost. You've won. Congratulations. The moment you show... Again, this is why I keep telling you guys, you can't really steal any other man's girl. You wait for the man to make errors. You can influence the man to make errors, like in your case. But yeah, like that's when the girl starts wanting to fuck you. It's when her man starts showing weakness to you in front of her. Right? When she can see through his actions and words that he legitimately sees you as a threat, that begins to make her wonder, who is this guy? You see? So, yeah, you pretty much got her in the bag. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Keep, you might even want to, if you want to, I don't know how you might feel about this, but you can tell a white lie and be like, we were this close to making out recently. Just to tell him that, just to get it in his head, and then obviously he'll go to her and be like, oh my God, what the fuck? You try to make out with him? And then she'll go into denial mode because it's not true. And, you just watch it disintegrate. You watch it go up in flames, and then you go over to her and go, dear, it's fine. It's okay. You know what? He's already accusing you of making out with me. We might as well. God, I was a menace back then. God damn. I'm getting flashbacks. What if you're an unsuccessful risk taker? Do you reap the same benefits as successful risk takers before the interview? It's more so help me with keeping what? I don't see the rest of that. But if you're so I really highly doubt that you're an unsuccessful risk taker. I just think you haven't actually taken any real risks. Most people that think that they're unsuccessful risk takers aren't really risk takers, or they just haven't given themselves a chance to actually take risks. If you look through your life well enough, you'll see many times where you took risks and came out successful. I promise you. That's one. Two, what makes you a risk taker in the now, in this present moment, is the kind of risk you're taking right now. Right? You risked rejection to talk to that girl to begin with. You risked rejection to introduce sexual tension into the conversation with that girl to begin with. So what makes you a successful risk taker isn't really the stories you have to tell about your life and all these different things you've done in the past that show that you've taken certain risks. It's the actions you're demonstrating right now. That's why I love cold approach pickup. Because you don't got to convince a girl you're a risk taker if you have the balls to walk up to her and you don't know her from jack shit. Right there, she knows. This guy, he's a winner. Right there. She knows. He's a winner. Look how he walked up to me. Look how he had no fucking fear in saying hi to me. Look how the first thing he said to me was something that really could offend me, but he didn't care to say it, and he's being playful about it. He's got balls. Right there. So you don't have to prove that to anybody. Just go do some risky shit. Okay? Let's see. Helped me on bitch. What are we talking about? I had practiced, but I had become a bitch, and then Jace helped me on. You can say I helped, but really I just gave you the tools. You're the one that unbitched you, okay? The girl has a bad image of me because of the things he said about me and how I'm out to get her. That's great. What's the issue? What? You have the bad boy image in her mind? What's wrong with that? That's exactly what you want. Like, you're the new exciting guy that represents a level of danger her man doesn't represent. That's how you get pussy. That's essentially where new pussy comes from. Especially when it comes to girls in relationships. Women in relationships, right? Like, yeah. That's how it works. She has she thinks of you as like forbidden fruit. You have a bad reputation. I've been warned about you. You're the guy I should stay away from. That's the one you eventually spread the legs of. That's how it works. Use a condom though, alright? Got a few girls obsessed with me right now due to the interview. Type shit. Shout out to you. Mainly also got girls because I'm handsome, but was hard to retain. Yeah, I feel that. No, like it's easy to get a woman's attention, but it's hard to make them actually like you without the game. Right. That feels unnatural at first, but the more you do it, the more it becomes a part of you, so it becomes you. All right, I keep telling people I don't run game, I am game. There's a difference. I am the game. You okay, buddy? Okay. My boy's knocked out on the floor right now. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Do what has the most impact first. Yes. A point where you saw you're really seeing result. Oh, nah, that's just a conversation between you and Kay. You both just go ahead. Kay is talking about, all the things he's learned in the group. So all of you that are seeing that, check it out. How do you increase your sense of urgency? Honestly, this is what we were just talking about, pre-selection. Specifically competition anxiety. There's the reason when you're in the friend zone with a girl. For those of you that have been in the friend zone, I had to talk to someone this morning that was trying to get out the friend zone. And if you've ever been in the friend zone with a girl, the reason you're there is because she's comfortable with you being there, right? So in order to not be in the friend zone, you have to introduce a level of discomfort. And usually the best type of level of discomfort to get out of the friend zone with is competition anxiety. It's her knowing that there's another girl that is siphoning your time and attention away from her. All of a sudden, she's willing to do whatever it takes to keep your time and attention. And then now that opens the door for, sexual exploits. Let's just call them that, A girl is like, oh yeah, we're just friends. She's perfect with the friendship thing. And then all of a sudden there's another girl that's maybe even hotter than her in the picture. Now she knows she has to compete for your time and attention. That's the best way to go about it. Hey man, I've been watching your videos for a long time now. I've learned a lot. Great content. Thank you. What's the difference between mental training and daydreaming? Oh, that's easy. One is easy, one is hard. Daydreaming is wishful thinking. It's mental masturbation. That's what Julian Blanc used to call it. Shout out to Julian Blanc. Mental masturbation. It's that thing you do when you were a kid in class and you got bored in class, because we all fucking have ADHD and people don't like to admit it. We all fucking do to some degree. I think we have it in varying degrees, but I digress. It's that thing you used to do when you were a kid and you were in class and you got bored and you began to imagine a scenario in your head where some random assailant for some reason would barge into your class and you would be the hero that disarms them of their weapon, kicks their ass with karate, and holds them down till the cops get there. That's daydreaming. That's mental masturbation. It's self-grandiosity. All right? It's thinking in ways that makes you feel good about yourself. Mind you, not that it's wrong. You should do that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Mentally masturbate. It's okay. All forms of masturbation are healthy if done in moderation, though. That's the thing. Is that you only ever do the mental masturbation part. You never do the mental fitness part. The part where you force your brain to do hard things. The part where you allow yourself to think through the complex problems that are in your life right now without trying to escape from them or suppress them or push them aside. All right. I was talking to my girl about this very recently too. We're talking about people that go out every night and, party, alcohol, blah, blah. And I'm just like, listen, a lot of those people aren't even going out because they want to or they like it. They're doing it so they escape whatever miserable life they're living. As opposed to just fucking sitting down and figuring out like, okay, how do I get out of this misery? You see the point? That's the difference. One feels good, the other is very difficult. But both are necessary. One more than the other though. All right? It should be 20% mental masturbation, 80% mental fitness. 80%. Okay? How often you be practicing? My game, shit. Like for me, game is part of my life. So I don't really think of it as practice, to be honest. I really don't think of it like I'm going out to practice my game. It's just, I've done it so long now. Every time I talk to a new woman, it's game. Because I am the game, It can be, I'm at the grocery store, I see a girl I find attractive. Every time I walk this boy, I might run into a girl I find attractive. That happens a lot, So it's just part of my life. I talk to women all the time. I incorporate women into my life all the time. If I go through my phone right now, I bet you there'll be a bunch of girls in there where it's like, oh, I forgot to text this one back. Oh, I forgot to call this one. It just is what it is. That's how my life looks like now. Nah, this advice is evil. The plateau is like, I'll set a task for me to do, e.g., go running at 5, I'll occupy myself with BS, and then oh well, I can't do it. Oh, okay. So it's just you're dealing with mental resistance. May I suggest, right? Because I can explain it to you right now. I can go into talking about the psychology of man, the studies of Friedrich Nietzsche, how we are at war within ourselves on a daily basis, and it's a war between our lowest self and our highest self. Desire versus duty, heart versus brain, whatever you want to call it. But I keep telling people the enemy is not outside of yourself. The enemy is you. There is no one that'll ever stop you from your own success harder than you will. No one. No one. Not fucking your parents or family or friends or like your hater. Oh, my haters. Haters are nothing. Nothing compared to you. Because your haters just hate you from afar. You actually know you. You know who you are. You know what your triggers are. You know how to waste the next 4 hours of your life if you really wanted to. You will find a way to do it and enjoy doing it. All right? So, the real war is with yourself. May I suggest watching pretty much any video by this guy called Charlie Morgan on YouTube. He's the guy I always recommend whenever I want people to understand how deep this resistance shit goes. Like, you will resist yourself, and your job is to remind yourself that you can't allow that to hinder you. Okay? Coming up with an excuse not to do something hard, that's easy. That's what the majority of people do in their lives. That's why the majority of people are miserable with their lives. Right? To live life to the fullest is to understand that you have to beat yourself. And your need to be the lowest vibrational version of yourself every day. The battle never stops. It gets easier, but it never stops. Okay? Good luck to you. Bro got an evil laugh too. Yes, I do. Jace, tell us one of the stories of you taking someone else's girl. First of all, the majority of the time I've taken someone else's girl, I did by accident. And I feel like anyone that gets girls can agree with me on that. Like, that's a universal experience for those of us that actually live in abundance. It's not something you do on purpose. Like, that's what people don't seem to understand. And by the way, that right there is how you know who actually has skill versus the guy who happens to be in a position of abundance. Right? I'm not talking about the guys that they made a lot of money and now because of that they have access to this, new influx of girls. I'm not talking about like Drake would be a good example of that. Like, that guy doesn't have game. Drake does not have any fucking game. And that's before the Kendrick Lamar thing. I've been saying that before. He got bodied by Kendrick. I'm saying Drake, just even the way he moves, you can tell someone in his position should not be doing the things he does. Remember that story that came out, not to digress so far, but remember that story that came out where he was apparently putting hot sauce in his used condoms? And I'm like, if you're Drake and you're worth however many gajillion dollars he's worth, why are you sleeping with girls that you have to pour hot sauce in the condom for? That's weird. To put that in layman terms, that'll be like a guy that works at, I don't know, a Steak and Shake or wherever, actually fucking the the toothless meth head behind the dumpster. You wouldn't do that. Like, even actual homeless guys wouldn't do that. Because that's so beneath them, right? If you're Drake and you're worth that much and you have that kind of star power and status, you have no business dealing with IG thoughts that you don't trust. That makes no sense. There's too many celebrity women on the planet. Like, at the very least, you can get a Bollywood chick from India, right? That thinks Drake is cool, but she's a celebrity in her country. You can do that. You can do that, Drake. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make is, whenever you see guys that happen to be in a position of abundance but don't have an abundance mindset, it's very obvious because of the way they talk about taking other people's girls and how often they try to do it as a flex. It really is, there's nothing. Again, once you figure out how to take people's girls, you realize, oh, I'm not even the one doing it. It's not me. I'm not doing anything. It's them. They're making the mistakes, and I happen to be positionally more attractive than whatever they're behaving like. Right? And that's coming from a guy, by the way, that's not only stolen people's girls. I had my girls stolen. You know? And again, that's another very common thing. Anyone that's in a position to steal people's girls usually has been in a position where they were on the other side of the fence. Right? So I've seen it from both sides. I know what's actually going on. There's no glory here. There's no glory here. It's me fucking a bitch and then some guy having a fucking existential crisis because of it. All it was for me was just like, you know, TikTok is telling me to be careful, so I gotta find different words. All it was for me was just a girl I happened to be sleeping with. For him, that was his entire existence, right? For all these guys, it was their entire, like, this girl, oh, my girl, I mean, it's their fault. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Don't make a girl your entire existence. That's stupid. Don't make anybody your entire existence. That's just dumb. Come on. Only person you should be having that much faith in is Jesus. But, you know, they get taught that harsh lesson, but in that harsh way. And then they come and meet me like I would place that same level of value on their girl. And it's like, I don't care. It's always the same thing. It's very weird. It's like, oh, my girl, da-da-da. I'm ready to do this and that. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Take your girl back. It's just a girl. It's just a girl, bro. It's not that big a deal. I did her whenever day. I probably did another 3 or 4 after her in that week. Like, chill. It's not that big a deal. It's really not. I get it to you. She's your fucking life. For me, it's just some bitch. You know what I mean? So that's all the stories. Just it's the same story over and over again. It's me finding out usually that, oh, you had a boyfriend? That's crazy. And it's usually me finding out because the guy, like, you know, finds a way to get my number. Or I had this one guy, I apparently did his chick. I gotta say did his chick now because TikTok. I did his chick, and then he went on to stalk me on social media for like a year. Like a good year afterwards. And then I think one night, I guess he got drunk, and he left a voice note on my Instagram telling me his life story up to that point, you know. I didn't listen to all of it, to be honest. It was like 20. I didn't have time for that. But I listened to like the first 5, and I got the gist. And the gist of it in general was just like, he was carrying this resentment for me for what I had done to him. The whole time I didn't even know he existed, right? For what I had done to him. And he was working through like fucking therapy and this and that to let go of the hurt in his heart that he had towards me. And he was going into like graphic detail about how he wanted to hurt me, he wanted to do this. It's, to be fair, probably one of the most detailed death threats I've ever gotten, to be honest. Like, it was actually kind of beautiful. But like, he wanted to do this. He knew where I lived and what I was doing and who I was with at so and so time. He was gonna pop out the car while I was walking here and there, like all these different things. But I guess, you know, he eventually decided, like, it wasn't my fault. And I'm like, I would reply this and tell him, get a life, nigga. But I decided, whatever, I'm just going to leave it on red. It's whatever. I'm not ready to have a deep conversation with someone I just met anyway. That's weird. But, yeah, these things happen, man. A lot of men hold their women way too close. Like, just chill out. It's girls. Don't take it that seriously. I get it. You build a life with a chick and you assume all these things around them, but that's fundamentally a mistake. Don't make that mistake. Women aren't here to make you prioritize them. Women are here to make you see them as your entire life's work. Women are here to make you better, to help you out with what you want to do. The woman in your life, if that's the lifestyle you live, is here to help you, not to become your entire existence. That's stupid. Okay? Let's see. I know what I'm doing. I just don't know how to get over this hump. I want to get better, but for some reason I keep pushing it off. Force yourself. Stop being a little bitch. Force yourself. Your competition is waking up earlier than you and going to bed later than you. Like, force yourself. Sometimes it's useful to remember that you do have an evil version of you out there that's psychotic and is doing whatever he wants. And there's nothing stopping him, like a lack of energy or laziness or morality, really. There's nothing stopping him. He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants. And he's getting everything that you want in your life faster than you, quicker than you, better than you, because he's just not allowing the obstacles to stand in his way. All right, so remember that you're dealing with a villain that you have to beat. The only way to beat a villain is to become one. Not be a hero, but become the villain. In order to neutralize the threat, you must match the same level of capacity of danger. All right, that's how you got to do it. Let's see. Hell, I would see that guy as incompetent. Exactly. Hey, Jace, your content is spot on, mate. Thank you. Thank you for, understanding the value of it. For beginners, is it better to focus on things you have to do or the things you should not do? I would say just focus on the things you have to do. It's like saying, if you're a beginner and you want to lose weight, is it better to focus on the things you can't eat or just focus on the things you should eat throughout the day? See? Exactly. If you're too busy doing the right things, you won't have time to do the wrong things. That's my philosophy around it. And I think I'm right for the most part. I'm sure there's a bit of a loophole in that. But I think for the most part and for the vast majority of people, that's how it'll work. It's like, if you're too busy doing the right things, there really isn't room to do the wrong things. If you're too busy eating all the right things throughout the day, you won't remember to have that snack you shouldn't be having. Let's see. I try to avoid my responsibilities. It's impossible for me. The game just keeps calling my name. I feel you, man. See, now you sound like me. Now you're getting to that point where they're gonna start calling you crazy. When you start talking about the game like it's an entity that has intelligence and consciousness, that's when you're entering that crazy level. Congratulations. I'm always skeptical about the girls who make the first move. Don't always be. I get the point. I understand where the skepticism comes from. Unfortunately, usually the girls who have the balls to hit you up first don't ever look the way you want them to. But they do sometimes. They do. And when they do, it's pretty fun. So, and besides, don't use that as an excuse to not allow good things to happen to you. A big part of having a high self-esteem is also believing in the fact that good things can happen to you, no matter how unbelievable they may seem. So keep that in mind. How do you spell his last name? Charlie Morgan, Morgan. Morgan. He's doing it to avoid pregnancy scare. Same difference. He dedicated a year to watching you and still learn nothing. Why didn't he just buy the course? I know, right? Let's see. So no new power comes from taking someone else's girl. I see. Like, seriously, there's almost no benefit. And again, the majority of the time you do it, you will do it by accident. You won't know you're taking this guy's girl. You'll find, like, you gotta understand, most of the time these girls don't tell you they have a boyfriend until you've been fucking them a couple times. Then it starts clicking in your mind, like, oh, that's why she could meet me at this time and not this time, because that's why she could only invite me to the house at this particular time and not that time. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Most of the time they're not telling you. They're not telling you. Women too have to find a way to justify their evil. That's the beautiful thing about human beings, right? I'm petting my boy with my feet right now. I don't know why he likes it. Pause. I feel like I have to say pause there somehow. But isn't that right, boy? I gotta say pause. But the beautiful thing about human beings is that we justify our evil. Right? We find a way to rationalize the evil things we do. That's why every bad guy thinks they're the good guy. And we have to remember that. Like, you have to remember, every person that's done you wrong in your life did it thinking they were doing the right thing. Right? Every single one. Not an exception. Not a single one. Women are now different. And women in particular, because they have these really, well, not just strong emotions, but an inability to control them as well as men do. So when they feel regret, they feel it stronger than men do. And they hate that feeling. They hate the feeling of remorse and regret and resentment. They hate that feeling. So what they do is they find a way to tell themselves stories in their head to mitigate or completely eliminate that feeling of facing the fact that they're a piece of shit. I feel like the world would just be a better place if everyone just admitted to themselves that they're a piece of shit. Like I do. You know, like what I say from time to time. Like, I've already accepted the fact that I'm a piece of shit. I know I'm a piece of shit. I'm very well aware of it. I've confronted my shadow, as they call it. I know what's deep there. I know what's lurking behind that. I know how fucked up it is. And I'm also aware of who my ancestors were. I know what they passed down to me epigenetically. I know what I'm capable of doing if I'm really pushed. So I don't deny it. I am a piece of shit. But I'm okay with it. I just try to be good, man. I try not to allow myself rationalize my evil. I'd rather just do the evil and know that I did some fucked up shit than try to lie to myself about doing it. You know, if I'm gonna stab someone in the stomach, I'm not gonna tell myself I did it for the right reason. I'm gonna remind myself how good it felt to twist that blade. Does that make sense? Women aren't like that though. They need to tell themselves it was for the right reason. Oh, that husband I had, that I took half of his life's work from him and I don't let him see the kids anymore. Oh yeah, I did it for the right reason. Yeah, he was neglecting me emotionally. I mean, sure, I cheated on him with his boss. And now me and his boss are dating and we're fucking in the house that he built. But hey, who cares? Emotional neglect, it's worth it. Nah, just admit it. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit and you jumped ship. You're a piece of shit and you jumped ship. It's okay. Look at me talking like women are even going to take my advice, right? That's just, you know, that's what comes with being human. Let's see. Watching still learn. I'll stop being a bitch. Thanks, bro. No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, my other me be here. Fair enough. For beginners, how many approaches a day? I would say like a good 10 approaches. Like 10 approaches is not as hard as people think it is. 5 to 10 approaches a day. Start with 5, see how you feel. Climb it up after the first 3 days, and then go with a steady 10 for the next month. But like, yeah, around 5 to 10 approaches a day. Just to call it a warm-up month, and then from there you can start going with crazy number of approaches. All right, that's where you're hitting like 30, 40, 50, you know. Depending on where you are. I mean, you're at a festival or a carnival, you're going to do 100 approaches. Very easily, if you want to, right? But yeah, start going crazy. My biggest sin has been sloth it's dampened my potential. Any tips to overcome it? Your biggest sin is sloth, but sloth is really just procrastination. It's procrastination on steroids. All right, so it's back to like what Samuel was talking about. Why are you putting off things? What is the excuse you're telling yourself when you're putting off things? And don't try to combat or counter those things. Like, don't try to negotiate with them in your head. Just realize that those things are bullshit and climb over them. All right. Really do, like, observe yourself. Observe yourself throughout the day. I see a lot of value if you want to. I have a friend that told me that this is something he does from time to time if he's feeling too lazy. He'll watch the video footage of all the cameras in his house just to see what his movement is like throughout the house. What he's doing, where he's doing it, how much time he's spending doing all these things. Right? Like, that's how he observes himself. And at least according to him, it disgusts him sometimes seeing how little work he's getting done, how little progress he's making in his life whenever he's just moving through the house doing nothing. Does that make sense? It kind of puts a fire in him, like, ugh, gross. What am I doing? What did I do at this point? Or just play this game for how long? For what? Why? What did I get out of it? What could I have used that time for instead? There's an opportunity cost there, right? For every time you're spending doing something else that's not as productive long term, that's time you could be using for something else. So you have to find a way to give yourself a sense of urgency that makes it impossible for you to want to waste any more time. Does that make sense? It's very important. Man, I'm gonna be a beast at the end of this month. Actually, I already am one. Just gotta start acting like it. Very good. I like that. Very good. You already are one. You just gotta start acting like it. What's up, buddy? You okay? Oh, you just need to adjust? Fair enough. You needed to adjust. Fine. I've always wanted to do it by accident. That would be a sign to me that I've reached the highest level in this skill. It's not that good a sign. I mean, you've reached a high level. I don't know about highest level, but I mean, you'll start doing that, but like the middle or the higher points of intermediate, it's quite easy. You'll do it easily. A girl has a man got intimate with me a couple times. She likes me. How do I bag her and not mess up? You've already messed up. You're trying to bag her. You already messed up. Abort mission. You've already messed up. The reason she's fucking you is because you don't want what her man wants. Do you get that? You're the guy she's fucking. Her man is the heavy emotions relationship guy. That is what he represents. That is why she runs away from that and escapes to you. You are the escape. The moment you start trying to turn what you have with her into what she has with her man, you're useless. You're cut off. Don't even think about it like that. Like, don't even allow that to cross your mind. Keep things fun, chill, light, and then... Besides, don't forget this. The girl you know now is just the girl you're seeing when she's not at home with her mans. Or wherever she is with her mans. Like, the reason you think she's so cool is because she's not acting like she's thirsty for a relationship from you. That's why you think she's cool. If you turn her into a girlfriend, so be careful with that, okay? Let's see. But we're not, bro. We're not what? I have a female friend that ruined my relationship with my girlfriend. Now she's trying to do it again. Well, why is she still your female friend? What, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Come on, you're better than that. You have an insurgent in your camp. And they're doing what insurgents do. They're destroying the cohesiveness of your platoon from within. And you're wondering why it's happening again? What are you doing? I'm pretty sure her friendship isn't valuable enough to lose another relationship, is it? Get rid of it. Your point about feelings. There's this girl who is absolutely gorgeous, but she carries herself. Carries herself what? Like what? I heard she didn't have a father figure at home, and her mom is just not good at parenting. Oh. She seems desperate and messed up. Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. Makes sense. There's a lot of beautiful women like. I would say the majority of beautiful women are like that. To be honest, the majority of them, unfortunately. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I gotta have morality rule my actions. I'm not saying morality is a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying, like, if you want to understand something, you have to take your morality out of it. The biggest, truest sign of intelligence, or at least one of them, maybe not the biggest by far, but one of the biggest signs of intelligence is your ability to take information, new information, without contaminating it with the way you feel about it. Right? That's what I mean when I say take your morality out of it. New information, especially information in the game, right? When it comes to the way women are, the female creature and nature they have, the principles that guide the way men should interact with women. When you understand these things, you understand very quickly whatever morality you were taught as a kid is holding you back from doing things correctly. And by the way, funny enough, women are suffering because of that, right? Every man was taught to be nice when they were a kid. And now women are in these boring, dead relationships that lack any excitement. Because they're with men that were told not to be exciting. That's bad for them. They're not having a good time. Right? That's why they gotta blow up a guy's phone like mine. Because, well, where else are they gonna get their excitement from? So, your morality more than likely is flawed. It's not really morality. It's if anything, what you call morality is probably just someone else's agenda being implanted into your brain to make it look like morality somehow. More than likely, what you call your morality is just the gynocentric social order. It's what society, and specifically women, have told you is the correct way to do things and move through life, but it's not going to help you long term. You know? Thanks for the tips, man. No problem. That camera technique is solid, not gonna lie. Hey, I do what I do. Let's see. How honest should you be? I see a lot of value in being honest with myself, but what about with women? I think being honest with women is important. Probably, I don't want to say more important than being honest with yourself, but it's almost the same, in my opinion, because the only men that have to not be honest with women are men that are scared of them. Right? That's why we have so many of these simps and nice guys and these so-called male feminists, right? It's guys that are so fucking steeped in a fear of women that they'll change their entire life and life's view and attitude towards life because women told them it was bad. They're dishonest. They're lying. But they're scared. So they'll continue to be that way because they have no other choice. You see? So I do think being honest with women makes you a better person. Not just better in terms of like just your self-development. I'm also just talking about better than them. A lot of why men are better than women is because we can do things they can't do. One of those things is honesty. We can be honest. We can really be honest. Like truly be honest, despite whatever resistance or backlash may come with it afterwards. And we're strong enough to survive that. Women can't. That's why they've evolutionarily adopted new strategies for their survival, including the manipulation, the backbiting, the gossip, the innuendo, the emasculation, right? You see women do it all the time, even here on TikTok. Almost everything a man does these days is gay, right? Because they can't whoop our ass. They can't get us to do what they want us to do. So they have to use all these different, tactics. It's very dishonest. It's very scoundrel-like. But that's how they have to exist. Because they're not as good at surviving as us. That's how honest you have to be. Hey, Mexicans! Welcome. How you doing, man? I'm thinking of playing the role of father figure, but how do I improve her self-esteem? Oh, the gorgeous woman in question? I'm telling you, put her through the exact same program I try to put you guys through. Women have low self-esteem for two major reasons. One, they do not trust themselves. Their decision-making is always flawed, and they have a lifetime's worth of watching themselves make bad decisions. So they don't trust themselves. They don't look at themselves as good counsel. That's why they're constantly looking for the opinion and validation of others. All right? Two, they don't do hard shit. They really don't. And because they don't do hard shit, they have no discipline. And because they have no discipline, they don't feel like they can compete with other women in what we call the dating marketplace. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, R.I.P. Right? A big part of a woman's self-esteem comes from her ability of knowing that she can stand up to other women. If that doesn't exist, she essentially doesn't exist. So a big part of getting a woman's self-esteem up is giving her the tools to be able to compete with other women. It's very important. Very important. And it starts with discipline. That's the first thing. I keep telling you guys, like, there's a reason I keep saying it. The most attractive thing about a woman is discipline. It is not her butt. It is not her titties. It is not her face. It is not anything else. It is her discipline. By far. It's attractive short term. It's attractive long term. Whether it's a girl I want to just sleep with tonight and never see again. Whether it's a girl that I want to keep in my life for the rest of my life. Discipline is so fucking hard. And trust me, the more you understand the creature we're dealing with, the more you'll come to appreciate what I'm saying. Discipline is so fucking sexy. Everything that makes a woman hot comes to them from a place and a point of discipline. Someone was asking me, I can't remember who was asking me the other day, like, what about girls that do surgeries? And have you actually, seen girls go through the recovery process of all the things they do to their body? It's very difficult. You know they can't sit on their ass when they get a BBL, right? Did you know that? For a few months, they cannot sit on their butt when they get a BBL. They cannot, suck out of a straw or, talk too much whenever they get lip filler. They literally got to shut the fuck up for a while. So they don't move the lip filler. I'm not saying you have to like girls that get all these things. I do. But you don't got to be like me. Don't worry about me. I'm just saying, any girl that would dedicate herself and make that kind of sacrifice, that's a different kind of mindset, bro. And the more you understand women and how rare it is to find that level of discipline, the more you appreciate those things. All right, the girl that's religious about her yoga classes, as goofy as you may think it is, oh, yoga. I adore women that take yoga classes religiously. I adore those white bitches that do the Pilates every day. Fucking hot. Because it translates into every other thing in their lives. Easily. But especially the way they look. So I keep telling you guys, there's a massive correlation between how hot she is and how high her self-esteem is. It's very true. It's very important. All right? So if you want a woman to increase her self-esteem, start giving her discipline. Remember now, you can't give something you don't have. It's going to be it's possible. You can definitely pimp a woman into hitting the gym a lot more times than you do. But I believe, you don't want to create a scenario where she begins to constantly test you for authority and position. If you're just that guy all the time, those tests don't need to happen because she sees you getting tested by life in passing. You know, so don't try to give her something you don't have. Be disciplined yourself. Give that to her. Okay? Let's see. What do you think of Shira 7? She been popping on my FYP with all these manipulation tactics. The sprinkle lady? Yeah, she's entertaining. She is. I mean, I do appreciate her on some level. I think she is what I would call she's like a mouthpiece for what a woman's most selfish point of view would be. Right? Like if you're wondering how selfish are women, how aggressive are they in their utility of men? How malicious can they be? How disagreeable can they be in their utility and their defiance of men? Go watch her channel. Shira 7. Sprinkle. It's good to know those things. I love the world we live in now because technology makes it easy for us to see the things that were always hidden. Right? There was a recent police shooting, unfortunately. Someone lost their lives and like a police brutality thing going on. It's really bad here in America. And the person I was talking to was like, man, it's just happening more these days. And I'm like, no, it's not happening more these days. If anything, I think it's significantly reduced since cameras came out. But we're now seeing it, though, because there are cameras. So be grateful for a woman like Shira 7 because she allows you to understand what women actually think like when men aren't around. You need that POV. It's very important. Sprinkle. Sprinkle. Ridiculous. Let's see. It's not an outside agenda. It's just an alignment. My code is if I feel like I can ascend, I'm on it. Okay? Let's test that. If you claim to be a man of code, what are your codes? What are these codes you live by? Let's hear them. I'm very curious. Surely that's not something that you have to think too hard about, do you? Give me an example, or maybe not even all the codes. Give me an example of something that you feel you shouldn't do. Easy enough. Like your morality wouldn't allow you to do when it comes to like dealing with women. Tell me. This girl says she wanted to do to end things. I blocked her. Now she's hitting me back up. How should I respond? You make her pay a price. I always tell you guys, every time a woman wants to come back in your life, make sure she pays a price, gives you a significant sacrifice. Don't let these bitches back for free. It's very important. Not only because you want to let her remember the value that you hold, but also to remember how much she had to pay to get back in, so it deters her from leaving in the first place again. You don't want her to think she can just come and go whenever she pleases. She created a reputation for being an undisciplined woman. It's tough to watch. She's a topic of discussion in class. I think the other girls are really talking about her because they secretly resent her. What's the most evil things a girl has done to you, or even for you, if that works? Okay, so with regards to that girl, we already talked about it. Discipline, blah blah. Most evil thing a woman has done to me. I know what you mean when you say that. I do. You want to hear some crazy story about like, oh, she fucked me up in this bad way, blah, blah. I got a bunch of those, but honestly, I still think the most malicious thing a woman has ever done to me is the same thing women always do to men when they don't find them attractive, or when, the attraction dies, is they don't tell them the truth of why it died. I really do believe like withholding that information and not being honest is the most malicious thing women do to men. I really do. Because imagine how much easier the game would be to learn if women were just honest about, like really honest, not the bullshit they spin. It's not you, it's me, this and that. oh, I just feel like you're the perfect guy, you're the nicest guy, you're the greatest guy ever. But then they end that sentence with, I think you'll make some girl out there lucky. If I'm so great, why don't you date me? Ever ask yourself that question? Right? That is the most malicious thing a woman has ever done to me. By far the most malicious thing. But then again, I'm a guy that actually, like, I value information. I understand how important information is and how it can change your life. So in my mind, that's evil as fuck, you know? Oh yeah, all the other girls are talking about her. She's the prettiest girl. They're always going to garner the most hate. Women are very competitive when it comes to looks, right? So no surprise there. But if they do have a point to how she's behaving, it's time to give her a very important one-on-one and let her know, like, yo, this behavior, it can't go on. I gotta go soon, guys. I gotta go. Let's see. A girl says she wants me but can't get rid of her abusive, controlling ex, close with her family. I don't see how that's a problem. I really don't. If her family is the reason she can't get rid of her ex, then you have to get her to get rid of both the ex and the family. This is why I keep telling you guys, a woman that's always family oriented isn't as good a thing as you think it is. Because you don't need the woman to be family oriented. You need the woman to be you oriented. Right? Listen, even the Bible says this. You leave your father's house and you build something with this new person, right? Why the fuck do you want a girl that still wants to be around her family all the time? No. You want a girl that wants to be around you all the time. A girl that'll choose you over her family. Because guess what, motherfucker? You're going to do a lot better of a job keeping her safe and providing for her than her family ever did anyway. And for longer. Like, do you realize that? Like, if your plan is to find a woman out there to marry one day, you're going to take care of that girl a lot longer than her father did, assuming he was in her life. Do you get it? So no, you don't need a woman to be family oriented. You need a woman to be you oriented. But I digress. Point I'm trying to make is you have to make her care more about your opinion than her family's. That way she will have no problem going with you and not giving a fuck what her family thinks about throwing the ex guy away and coming with you. I think the other girls are really talking about her because I already read that one. I already read that one too. My girlfriend had a history of following her parents and they've disappointed her. Now she's really big on independence. I don't think it's a good thing. How do I get her to become more dependent on me? First of all, be careful what you wish for. Second of all, if she's at the point now where she's, free from her family, it's funny we talk about that after just talking about this, but my question would be, why doesn't she trust your leadership? Because it doesn't make sense. Like, women are always leaning on something. This is something I know subconsciously that I feel like I have to say out loud to you guys. So pay attention. There's no such thing as an independent woman. It's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. Every woman is leaning on something emotionally. It can be her faith in the government, maybe. It can be some celebrity. She has a fucking... what do they call those relationships? I forget the name. There's a scientific name for it. When they have a fake relationship with a celebrity in their head. I forget the name. But hell, it can even be Jesus, right? But they're always leaning on something, though. There's no such thing as a woman that's just by herself on her own all the time. That's not. It could be even her dog. You know what I mean? Like, they're always leaning on something. So she's not independent. What you got to do is find out what she's leaning on and then ask yourself two questions. One, why is she leaning on that thing? Two, why is she choosing to lean on that thing and not you? What about that thing makes her feel safer than you do? Or that person? Or whatever. Does that make sense? Very important. Self-pleasure, unconditional love, and pure positivity. Are those your codes? Self-pleasure, unconditional love, pure positivity? The self-pleasure one will get you in trouble. Pure positivity will fuck you up bad too, because life is not all positive. It's negative too. The way God made this universe, it's all about duality, positive and negative. You can't have the proton without the neutron and the... Why am I forgetting the other name right now? Why am I drawing a blank? But you get the fucking point. Everything is filled with both positive and negative energy. And that reflects in the duality of life. Even that pure positive experience you're talking about, you're going to have a bunch of negative things happen within it. So that's just fundamental. That's not a code. That is just misplaced expectations, right? Self-pleasure, that's another bad one, because your life can't be filled with nothing but self-pleasure. That's stupid. In fact, self-pleasure should be a tiny slither of your life. The rest of it should be self-subjugation. Subjugation to suffering and pain. And doing things that you don't want to do so that you can create pleasure for yourself and others that you care about. Because the pleasure comes from pain. Now let's talk about that unconditional love. The other two will fuck you up. But that one, unconditional love, you're living on a planet where the very fundamental law is give and take. Cause and effect. In and out. And that's just on a basic level how this simulation works. Do you really want me to go into how it works with regards to interactions between two human beings? I really do. Like, on some level, I get frustrated whenever people talk about unconditional love, because the only people that ever say that dumb shit are people that have never loved unconditionally a day in their lives. You have never in your life given something without expecting anything in return. Never once. You found a way to extract value from every time you made a sacrifice, every single time. Even that homeless man you gave money to, you did it because you felt good. Piece of shit. See, that's why it's easy to be me. I'm okay with the fact that I'm a piece of shit. I know I'm giving all that money and charity I give because I know it makes me feel good. But I'm okay with that. I don't delude myself into thinking I'm doing this unconditionally. But I'm talking about you and putting the mirror on you, because once you understand that you don't love unconditionally, it'll be easier for you to understand that no one else loves unconditionally. The only person I know that loves unconditionally is God Almighty. He's the only one. And frankly, even though he does love unconditionally, he essentially had to find a way to use loopholes in his own laws to give us that unconditional love. He had to meet conditions because he made it that way. Jace, are you angry today? Nah, I'm not angry. I'm just passionate, man. I'm not angry. I mean, I can see why you asked that, though. I've gone on more than one, rant today, but, let's see. All she be talking about is how she wants a pure provider and does not care about appearance at all. What are we talking about? Oh, that sounds like a broke bitch, though. Be careful with that. Whenever you hear women talk about, I don't care about how he presents himself, I just want someone that'll take care of me. That's a girl that's trying to run away from poverty. Be careful with that. Hurt them in any way. Just give the keys to make the right moves, to be there in the vision that's ever changing in her head. What are we talking about? Oh, your code? Oh, hurt them in any way? That's also bad. You definitely want to hurt them from time to time. And they want it too, by the way. Ask them. I mean, they won't tell you because you're not the kind of guy they tell those things. But they tell me all the time. They want to get hurt. And I'm not just talking sexually either. I'm talking like women. What makes you a bad boy is how much pain you inflict. That's why bad boys are exciting, because bad boys aren't scared to inflict pain. Sprinkle, Lady G. All she be talking about is how she wants a pure provider. Oh, okay, yeah. That's true. I stand by what I said. She clearly grew up poor. That sprinkle lady clearly grew up poor, and she was taught probably by her own mother, right? Because usually with black women, it's like that. They get taught by their own mothers to see men. This is something, by the way, that Kevin Samuels said. And I don't want to take credit for this. They get trained by their mothers to see men as utility to get them out of poverty. So it's not really surprising that is her entire philosophy. That's why I keep telling you guys, as malicious as women can be, you do got to feel sorry for them on some level, because they really do just move through their emotions and their pain. Whatever their biggest pain is in life becomes the entirety of their personality. It is what it is. And not in like a productive way either. But let's see. Oh yeah. Hurting women, necessary. Just give the keys to make the right moves, to be there in the vision that's ever changing. I don't even know what that means. I don't even think you know what that means. I think you're trying to use some word salad to try to make yourself sound more complex than you really are. But I forgive you. It's fine. Chris, I forgive you. But don't try to rizz me up, though. I ain't the bitches. I ain't the huz. But that again, everything you said, unrealistic. If you try to do any of that in real life, you will get so fucking embarrassed and hurt. It will be monumental. And frankly, I'm tempted to ask you to record every single move, because you're going to do numbers on social media if you were to record all those failures. You really are. It's not a good idea, though. Just, you need a rehaul of your mind. I have a friend whose girlfriend's best friend was disrespectful to him in front of everyone. He's mad his girl didn't defend him. Should he break up? It's not his girl's job to defend him. He should defend himself. If you can't keep yourself safe from her or her best friend in this case, how can she trust you to keep her safe from the world? You're the protector, not her. All she will do is nurture you after the fight. She doesn't jump in the fight with you. What's wrong with you? Why would you even want your woman to jump in that type of situation? Right? Now, am I saying that, if a girl likes you, she wouldn't do that? Of course she would. But for the most part, no. You got to show you're gangster so that she has the balls to be gangster with you. So that tells me he had none. Like, she already doesn't see him as much of a man if she's treating him like that. If she's looking at him like, oh, you can't even defend yourself from my best friend. You're weak. I appreciate your time, Jace. Keep changing lives out here. Hey, I do what I gotta do. Dr. Jace. Hey, what's going on, Profilo? How you doing, man? How to earn a woman's respect. Do things other men are scared of. The only reason you'll ever earn respect from women and anyone in this life is because you're able to do things they can't. That's it. That's how you earn respect. Why do we pedestalize all the greats that we do? Because they had the balls, the vision, and the discipline to execute on dreams and goals that we didn't. That's where respect comes from. Do hard shit. I'm doing good, Profilo. How you doing, man? She's leaning on her friendship. Yeah, because, again, they're always leaning on something. They're always dependent on something. In her case, it's her friendship, and not you, and not your best friend. All right, so keep that in mind. Parasocial relationships. That's the word. Thank you. I don't know why that escaped me. But yeah, parasocial relationships. They lean on that too. Right? They compare every man around them to whatever celebrity they like, which is very psychotic. But hey, women. Can you please add timestamps on your YouTube videos? Sure, I will. Or at least I'll tell you I will. And then I probably won't, because I want you to watch the whole thing anyway. I don't want you guys to consume long-form content like it's short-form. I'm going to just go in and get what I want. Fuck all that. Watch the whole thing. You never know what'll help you. But nah, I'll figure that out. Why do girls do corn in OF? Like, psychologically, the POV. I believe some of them were ugly. That's actually a very good guess. No male attention is a big factor in why a lot of girls end up doing that. Right? The idea of male validation is very exciting, and it drives them to do whatever for it, really. I've met girls that do the whole, sex work thing, and it's like, it's very clear to me they would do this shit for free. They just happen to take money for it because, you know, for them, it's like a way to like at least have an excuse. Oh, I'm not doing this for free. Oh, it's something I'm getting paid for. But if you were to really break into these women's psyche, you know, it's very clear, like, they like this shit. They like the attention. They like feeling like men are looking at them intently. Because that's something they've never had. And my girl's hair. And yeah, they're addicted to it. That's a big part of it. But a lot of the time, it's really just fatherless behavior. And not in like a jokey way. I really do mean fatherless behavior. Like women who don't have a male authority figure in their lives that gives them boundaries, structure. How does Cesar Millan say it? The dog whisperer. How does he say it? No rules, no boundaries, no limitations. Right? No rules, no boundaries, no limitations. They're doing whatever. And the value of a masculine figure in a woman's life is to do for them what women usually don't have the superpower to do, right? It's to lend women his superpower. And what is a man's superpower to a woman? The ability to see the future. You think women don't think to themselves sometimes like, what I'm doing is wrong? They do. They just keep forgetting over and over again how much they regret it whenever they do it. So instead of not doing it anymore, they find a way to mitigate the regret. You see how they work? That's what they do. They find, there's a video. I can't remember her name. God bless this woman. I can't remember her name. But I know I saw this, I think maybe a year ago, maybe a couple years ago. Probably a couple years. Maybe almost 3 years at this point. Because I remember watching it at my former job's break room. It's this lady that made a video about an article she wrote. And the article she wrote was about how she had spent the majority of her young adult life pretending like being a slut was a good thing, and how she had come to regret it. And she described in detail all the emotions she felt, how she felt them, why she felt them, and how hard she had to pretend to other people that she wasn't feeling those things. Very eye-opening shit. I suggest every man watches it. So you can see how these women really are when you take away the fucking mask. They're miserable, man. They're fucking miserable. Unless they have a man that's at the helm of affairs, like really personally invested in them, like that is how they make their money, they're fucking miserable, dude. Miserable. Keep that in mind. Have you seen the how to get a girl tutorial where dude plays it in front of a girl? I did see that. That was fucking funny. That was funny. That really was funny. I don't think the turnover on that is high, but I think it's pretty funny. Can you rate Kevin Samuels' pro and cons? I don't have time for that. I gotta go soon. I think although it alters the frame a little bit, it isn't bad because it definitely leaves an impact. It leaves an impact for sure, but not in the way you think. Like, if anything, it's like it's really just one overt, direct approach that's being used to like. It's cleverly masked in humor to look like an indirect approach, but it's really a direct approach. Like, as far as sub-communication goes with women, that thing is no different than just walking up to her and being like, I think you're beautiful. There's no difference. It's just it's a longer about way to go about it. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but you get the point. It's a direct approach. It's a direct approach that is creative, so it'll get points for being creative, but it's still a direct approach. So, nah. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, it's this guy that goes, he approaches girls, and he has a video playing on his phone first, where the very first thing that the video is saying is like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to approach girls in public. Like, that's the thing. And he's playing it out loud while he's sitting next to the girls, or standing next to the girls that he wants to approach. And again, the girl thinks it's funny because, oh, he's learning how to approach me while he's in front of me. It's very funny. But again, like, it's not gonna work out long term. All you're gonna be is that dancing monkey, essentially. You're gonna be that one guy that made that very funny joke that one time, but nothing about that made her want to chase your validation. Nothing about her made her feel any real tension around you. Like, not to the levels where you're creating actual arousal, you know? So, flashy, but just not good fundamental game. That's why I said the turnover rate can't be that high. Like, out of 100 girls you do that on, I think you'd be lucky if, like, 3 of them turn into actual dates. Like, very lucky. And honestly, I would say it would be the girls, the bottom tier, not bottom tier girls, but more average girls. Like, that won't work on a 10 or a 9. Might work on some 8s, a good amount of 7s and 6s. A lot of 5s. 5s would love that shit. Oh, because, like, no, the guys that approach 5s don't even have that level of confidence to do something that creative. 5s are all, like, bored out of their mind because every guy that goes for them just says, hey, right? It's 7s usually that go for 5s, and the 7s are like, hey, and the 5s are like, oh, I need more than a hey. So if you show up with her and be like, give me 1 second before I talk to you, give me 1 second. Hey, guys, today we're going to talk about how to approach women. And they keep doing the things from the video. Oh, a 5 is going to love that shit, but it's just not going to work on a 10. It's just, no. Like, look at this little weasel trying to sneak into some high grade pussy. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. A dancing monkey. Exactly. Exactly. Let's see. I think although it alters, I already read that one. Alpha, dropping my daily dose. Indeed. Alpha, man. Alpha, ID. Or de-escalate. De-escalate what? What are you talking about? We need more videos on YouTube. I dropped like 3, actually 4. So 2 on Monday, 2 yesterday. Go watch those. How can you date those type of girls? Like, are you asking, like corn is insane, your video on the net is crazy, your kids will see. Dude, end of the day, it's girls, man. Like, once you understand, like, all they are a ball of bad decisions, it doesn't really matter which one you date. Some make worse decisions than others, but they all make bad decisions ultimately. You know what I mean? Like, just because, oh, she doesn't do OF, but trust me, she probably makes just as bad decisions too. They all need someone to keep them safe and tell them what to do and all that, so don't judge too harshly. What I've noticed is women are deathly afraid and envious of men while disrespecting most men. Oh yeah, absolutely. But do you see the point though? That's literally what they do. That is how they are. It's unfortunate, but they're a creature that doesn't feel a lot of power all the time. So they do what they think powerful people do. You ever see someone that tries to imitate people with actual power, even though they have no real experience with power themselves? That's, I think, most women. A lot of women do that. They think what makes men powerful is these certain types of things we do. But in reality, what makes us powerful is the fact that we don't go out of our way to try to do those things. We're talking about this. This is a high level conversation I was having with a buddy of mine. A lot of women, women are attracted to power. They really are. But they don't really know what power looks like, a lot of them. They really don't. They think they do. That's why a lot of them are terrible at making decisions, especially when it comes to men. But they don't really know what power... Because, you can have a situation where one guy... I'll give you an example. This came to mind because it's a perfect example. I had this guy I went to high school with. He was essentially the cool guy when I was going to high school. He was my classmate. He was a pretty fucking cool guy. He was Mr. Popular. But he was Mr. Popular for a reason. He wasn't just some big jockey jerk. He was actually... he was a big dude. He was muscly. He was taller than everybody else. But he was actually fucking cool. Right? One day, he and I are in class. And this is a guy I barely had a lot of communication with. Right? Not a lot of communication with. Didn't really... We weren't friends. I wouldn't say I was in the cool crowd in high school. But one day we had a little back and forth. and something happened. I got angry. I felt the need to slap him, and I did. Mind you, dude is like twice my size. And by the way, he was dating the hottest girl in our set, who also happened to be the most intelligent girl. So it was my high school experience was very weird. Everyone was crushing on this girl. I hated this bitch because she is the reason I could never clinch like the first place position. It would be the top 3 students be valedictorian, but I could never clinch first spot because of her. She was always beating me, like very fucking annoying. Hey, Kiru. Nah, I love all these people. But he was dating her, and I slapped him in front of her. And everyone heard it and saw it and was like, hey, Nigerian high school. Yay, oh, hey, right? Super dramatic people. And he looks at me, and he looks around, and he just goes, it's cool. I can't explain to you how small I felt in that moment. Taught me a really big life lesson. Really big life lesson. Now, here's the funny thing. Later on, the week after that or something like that, maybe a week, 2 weeks, whatever, I eavesdropped on a few girls in my set talking about that incident. Right. He was in our soccer team, so he had killed it in one of those games, and I'm coming back from the locker room a lot earlier than the other guys. And I hear the girls talking about what had happened between he and I, our disagreement, my slap, blah blah. And it sounded like it was 6 girls, 3 of them, it was split down the middle. 3 of them were convinced that he was a bitch for letting that slide. Right? Because he was just cool about it. He was just like, oh, that's fine. Your hand probably slipped. I think he said something like that too. Like, your hand probably slipped. It's okay. Just cool. The other 3 girls were like, that is the most attractive thing they've ever seen. Like, I mean, they didn't say it like that, like those the actual words, but you get the point. Like, in their minds, they thought he was the coolest man walking because he handled it like that. But the other 3 were like, oh, he's a bitch. I'll be the one to say it now. Maybe those girls are somehow watching this live, because I know a bunch of my old high school mates, they watch my channel. I'll find out, and I do. I'll admit it. He was the more powerful person that day. He was. Because I smacked him from my own place of insecurity. Not because I was even justified to. I felt like in that moment, that's what I had to do to keep my rep. Not that I even had much. I don't know what the fuck I was fighting for. But what I did from a place of insecurity. That's why I was able to suss it out when Will Smith did it. Because I've done that before. I did it much younger. I wasn't fucking 40-something years old when I did it. But I immediately identified that pseudo-masculine overcompensation in someone else because I've done it in myself. He was the far more powerful person that day. These B are confused and are confusing us. Imagine 6 options. Exactly. 3-3. Exactly. Like, that was that I really understood. Like, yo, they don't know what the fuck power looks like. And I've gone on to see more examples of that throughout my life. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just women being split on what power looks like. But make no mistake, there is a way power looks. And the women that know what it looks like, they end up being happier on average. Like, it's not even close. Those 3 women, like the 3 that I told you were like, oh, he's a bitch, blah, blah. Guess what? 2 of them I later heard. Like, I'm not even sure I can talk about one of them. Because 2 of them ended up being in marriages where their husbands were, using them as punching bags, so to speak. One of them, can I say this? One of them had a miscarriage from it. So I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I do feel like a little guilt from that. Like maybe I should have said something so they change their minds and they can make better decisions later in life. But I mean, who the fuck? They wouldn't listen to me anyway, right? I wasn't that guy, you know. But yeah, it's wild. Women don't know what power looks like. They think the power is in the action. The smart ones. I don't like the story I just told you guys. It was 3 and 3. It was split in the middle. In real life, it's not 3 and 3. It's like 9 and 1 out of 10. In real life, the ratio was 9 to 1. Right? Most women think, oh, he took the slap and just ate it. He's a bitch. There's 1 out of 10 women that go, that's fucking strength right there. He restrained himself. That's hot. Because he could kill him if he wanted to, but he didn't. Good women, smart women, know that it's not the action, it's the intention. Just keep that in mind. Did the hotter girls think that was the most attractive? Oh, I didn't even mention that part. All the 3 women in question that were like, he's a bitch. You no get mind. They fear. Those 3 were the ugliest bitches in our class. Like, just wawa for face. Ask any Nigerian what having a wawa face means. Ask them what it means. Just wawa. Just a wawa. One of them, my voice be like caterpillar. Hello. That's what you should talk about girl. Wawa girls. Like the fine Ajabota ones, they be like, no, it was very nice how you handled that. Ajabota, like Bashandi is very cutesy, very demure. The other ones, no, now I got mine. Be like, but man. I'm sorry. The Nigerian just flows out. Even my boy got scared. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He doesn't like it when I talk like that sometimes. What does power look like apart from being a soldier for Jada? What was wrong? Soldier for Jada is crazy. What was wrong is why he did what he did. He didn't do it because he was trying to protect Jada. He did it because he was scared of Jada and he thought that's what he needed to do to keep Jada happy. Powerful men use their power because they deem it fit to use it. Not because they feel like they have to. Powerful men never use power under duress. Never. It's never desperate. It's never a panicky thing. It never happens like that. That's why powerful men are powerful. They move at their own pace. Will Smith was not moving at his own pace that night. He was moving at Jada's pace. You get it? So how would you have handled the situation as the person who got slapped? The exact same way Chris Rock handled it. Exact same way. Buddy, don't fuck my camera. Stand up. He did everything he needed to do the exact way he needed to do it. He laughed it off. He allowed Will Smith to, do his thing. And then he used the power he had, which is comedy, to talk about it later. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, me personally, that comedy is not my thing. I'm not a stand-up comic. So I would have told Will Smith, hey, if you feel that strongly about it, I still think your wife's head is bald as fuck. You should probably meet me in the ring to talk about it. Or if you feel like you're too old, send all your sons at me. I'll fight them all. Let them defend your wife's honor in your place if you feel that strongly about it. That's what I would do because, that's how I like to, flex my power. Or a game of chess. I'll take either one. I don't really care. But that's the point, is that you chill about it and you do it the way you want to, not the way everyone's saying you should. How to become powerful. But please, can you explain it more? You guys are asking me to do things that I don't have the time for right now. How do you become powerful? do things other men are scared of doing. Real power is the ability to cause dynamic changes. That is what power is. The ability to cause dynamic changes, right? How do you become that person with that ability? You get used to paying the price for becoming that person. Does that make sense? Because in order to have the ability to cause changes, you have to be willing to do things other people can't do. How long I've been live? Like a good 2 hours. A lot longer than I thought I would be. But I got to go act right now anyway. What about corn and OF meal? Same thing? I wouldn't say it's always the same thing with men. For men, it's usually like simpler. Like, oh, I just want to get a lot of coochie. You know, oh, I just want to be able to have this particular lifestyle. I just want to be validated for my sexual prowess, whatever. But it's still that same kind of lack of masculine, you know, because both men and women need a masculine role model, a masculine figure in their lives. Power is an entity on its own. Power is a tool, yeah. It is a tool. And the person whose hand it's in determines how it'll be perceived and used, right? Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, Faithful? Grateful? I said Faithful. How you doing, Grateful, man? How you doing? Been a while. Yo, honey, how are you? Good opening. Not bad, actually. But that's direct, though, so be careful. Yo, Jace, Base, and Mason. Damn, it's been a while. I let the professor hang out, man. It's been a while. Damn, it's been a while. I'm going to do that next live. I'm going to let Professor Base come out, talk about some crazy shit. Gonna meet a girl long distance, and I have to travel slightly more than she does. She makes a cake in return. You think that's enough investment? I love cake. Chocolate cake with rainbow sprinkles. Hope she's good at baking. Sure, that's actually more than enough. Yeah, that's good. Need timestamps on the videos? Sure. Sure. I mean, if you're a few girls that threaten to get physical with you, do you throw hands or de-escalate? Your girls that threaten to get physical with you, I need the context first, because depending on the context, it's either allowed or not. You can, de-escalate with a dad. If you like this girl and you want her in your life long term, you're gonna have to run into that motherfucker all the time. So it's probably better to make peace, not war, with him. But depending on the situation, yeah, you might have to show dad I ain't the punk to play with. You know. So I need context. I like Lucario, but I'm skeptical about Steve's game. I don't know. Something's off. LOL. Steve. Steve the Dean? His game? What's wrong with his game? What's wrong with Steve's game? We'll talk about that later, Dim. We'll talk about that. Next time we get on the phone, we'll talk. Let's see. Jace, you also book smart? Yeah. I kind of had to be. I'm from a Nigerian home, so... Yeah. If you and all your mods were close to me, I would have given everyone a piece of cake. Aww. That's cute, really. That's very cute. And we'd appreciate it too, even though I hate chocolate. It's a gesture that would count. Perfect description of women cops, LOL. Abuse their power quite a bit. Yes. There's a reason every woman cop you've ever met is very annoying until you start flirting with them. By the way, that's how you get out of a ticket with a woman cop. Flirt with them aggressively. They'll let you slide off with a warning. Might also give you their number. Throw that shit out the window when they're not looking. Our boy is a nerd. Shit. I am a nerd. Motherfuckers don't even understand. I'm a nerd trapped in a jock's body, but I'm a nerd, dude. I just happen to be very athletic. Let's see. I will do a video about power and wielding power. I will. He said, "Whoa, see, then they like, even God create them do like, what's in this? What's that creates?" That's funny. All right, I gotta go, guys. I gotta bounce. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I always end up spending more time than I need to because I just love spending time with you guys. Don't let me riz y'all up too. But yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Boy, you want to come do this with me? Come here. Yeah. So, no face kisses right now. So, if you want to check out my free course, Self-Belief, links are in the bio. You want to hit me up, call me, schedule a call with me, all that good stuff. All those links are in the... Boy, your coat is shiny today. That cocoa butter doing you good, boy. Yeah. But yeah. If you want to understand how to talk to women, everything involved with approaching women from top to bottom and get them on you the way my boy is on me right now. Chill, stop being gay for me. You gonna yawn in my face, nigga? Disrespectful. Nah, but, if you want all that information, that is in my course called The Interview. All those links are in the bio. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Buddy, chill with the camera work. Bless you, nigga. Damn. All right, it's been Jace, your favorite scientist. Do with all this information. You want to say what you must? You want to say what you must? No? All right, do with all this information what you must.